Hello everyone and welcome to Thursday night stream. I hope you've had a good start to the week and you have as nice weather as we have. We basically have Mediterranean climate here in Sweden right now. Beautiful weather. Bit too warm for what it should actually be, but that's okay, we'll have to live with it. Today's been a little bit of a tiresome day. I think I have a cold, so I'll try to continue talking the whole stream, but if I stop all of a sudden, then you know why. I actually have no specific topic that I'd like to discuss today, unless you have something to come up with. I mean, I do have a few things that might be on my mind, but I always find it fun when people have something else that you've been thinking of. So if you have anything, feel free to write it in the chat and I'll look at that. It's interesting because whatever you say, for me, is still the same topic. It doesn't really matter what the topic becomes, because it's always about the same thing, which is feeling good, enjoying life, and that there are distortions in the way, something between your way of perceiving the world, something that stands in between you and your interaction with the world, meaning that it's not quite clean, it's not quite as it truly is, because you're observing the world through all these filters, and those filters might seem harmless, they might seem like, oh, they don't really make any difference, but they really do. If you guys come up with something you'd rather discuss, then just type it and I'll start on that instead. Otherwise, the thing, it's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and how we have this idea that we need to get somewhere else, that we need to change our lives. And if you look at spirituality, especially the branch that would call like law of attraction, it's all about manifesting your dream life, or overcoming your inner obstacles, or your insecurities, or shadow work. And it's all about getting something, maybe not shadow work actually, well, it depends on how you see it, but a lot of it is that you fix your life and then you can be happy. Or you have this part of your personality, your sense of identity that you don't like, so we're going to change that one, and then you'll get to a state where like then you can like it, and then you can choose to feel good. If you change and you fall into line with what society is expecting of you, then it's okay, and then you can enjoy yourself. Those things in and of themselves are just thoughts, or they're just not even thoughts, they're just ideas or concepts. Let's see, Catherine actually has something. Catherine, good afternoon, Martin. Catherine is saying, good afternoon, Martin. I have an overwhelming fear of saying the wrong thing while in a personal conversation. I think it's probably like a social anxiety type of thing, how to overcome, or at least how to lessen the fear. Hey, Stephen, nice to see you. Yeah, social anxiety, again, it's like I said in the beginning of the stream. For me, it's all the same topic. It doesn't really matter what shape or form it takes. The underlying problem is the same. And actually, if we go all the way down to the root, way down to the origination of where all of this comes from, it's that you have an identity that you feel. I'm not talking about identity as in understanding that, okay, your name is Catherine, you come from this or that country, your parents are named this, you work with that. That's just like stuff of what you're doing. Some people might say that your identity is how you align to political parties or other things, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the conceptual identities. I'm talking about the feeling identity. And this is why it's so difficult to change your opinion. I think I actually made a video about that recently. So your identity, which is the thing that underpegs everything, says that Catherine, whoever she is, that identity underneath, it's important that we protect this psychic identity, because it's not really a real thing. It's a feeling, and that feeling only exists in you. It's not the body. It's not even other people's view of you. It's a feeling that you have, and you feel that I need to be perceived in a certain way, otherwise this is not who I am. So, for instance, the way I would have identified before would have been like, okay, I need to be perceived as a kind person, a good person, someone who's intelligent, someone who's romantic, who is good at singing, who likes talking, who is social. Like, I had all these ideas of what it meant to be me, and they were connected to a feeling. So I would feel like, yeah, I'm a social person. I like interacting with people. That's a part of my identity. If I would go somewhere and I would feel insecure about talking to people, that would go against my identity. So I would have to protect this identity and then do all kinds of stuff to make sure that no one noticed this. And underneath, I went around, I feel like, oh no, I hope no one finds out that I'm actually quite scared of big social interactions. So I was trying to protect this made-up belief of who I am. And when I say belief, I mean feeling-wise. It doesn't really matter if you say to yourself, yes, I'm a social person, I'm not a social person. That's not it. The thing is that there's something underneath, some part of your identity that you want to have other people perceive in a certain way. And when they don't do that, then you feel threatened. You feel like, oh, I need to protect that. So then we go out and do all kinds of crazy shit. Like weird stuff. People will kill each other. They will happily go out and talk crap about other people, or be really mean and cruel to other human beings or animals or whatever, just to protect this identity. Because if it goes against that, then obviously I am threatened, because I can no longer be me. I will no longer be safe, and I need to protect me, this feeling of me. I'm not talking about the physical body. I'm talking about this feeling of me. And when I worked with people and really sat down and we look at these things, that usually comes down to a few beliefs that we have about ourselves, or main things that, like, this is really who I am. And we have like these big things, and they control a lot of our lives, because we then walk around in society and in life in general, and we try to make sure that everyone knows about this and everyone are aware that we're this way. And I'll give you an example. Like I'm out walking here a lot around the neighborhood, and I just stop, and I'll just stand there, and I'll just feel and make sure that I'm not distorting. I just enjoy the breeze on my skin and just enjoy standing. I can stand there for 15 minutes. That's no problem for me. When I started doing that, I would sometimes have this feeling like, oh, I hope no one comes, because that would be embarrassing. They would think I'm crazy. Because someone actually said, like, oh yeah, we were wondering if you're okay, because he just walks around all day and stands still. Like, what's wrong with him? Maybe he said, like, completely broken down. Someone actually said that, a neighbor. And there was a part of me going like, oh shit, I don't want them to see me like that. So then there was a part of my identity that I wanted to protect. And that has an uncomfortable feeling. So when I would close my eyes and I would stand there, I'd feel like, oh, I hope no one sees this. And the way that I would walk around that is like, I look, and no one's looking. Okay, good, I'm safe to stand here. That's just another thing to work with, another thing that I can look at, that I'm trying to protect, because I'm afraid that they'll see me standing here. And it's completely ridiculous if you think about it. I can just stand. The fear, the anxiety, or the pressure that I have towards someone seeing me is just made up in my mind. Nothing says that they'll react that way. And even if they did, there's nothing that says that I need to feel bad about that. We're not talking about me going around doing absolutely mad, crazy stuff, like, or illegal things. It's just me standing still. And still, there's a part of my identity that feels threatened if someone would see me like that. So by learning to see first, and there's one thing that really underpins this, and that's understanding what you are, or what you feel like you are. You see, the feelings you have, the anxiety, the fear, the worry, but also the pride, the joy, the love, whatever it is, that's what you identify as in the moment you're feeling it. That's where you feel you are. You basically are, when you have anxiety, you basically are anxiety. That's what we feel like. So when I was standing there and feeling this, it feels like, oh, I am anxiety. Now, the way that most meditative practices, and Buddhism in particular, approach this is by saying, okay, you have this thing here, this uncomfortable feeling. we're going to separate from that. We're going to disassociate from it and pretend that with this thing over here, observing it. Because if you think about it, the observer, that didn't exist until you actually started looking for this. It wasn't really there before. So now I'm separating, and it's like, okay, this is my anxiety, this uncomfortable feeling, and this is me watching it. And then people will start identifying with this instead. But this is actually a made-up thing as well. So you are that uncomfortable feeling. And when you see that, the thing that is so beautiful and that is so incredibly easy when you understand this is that you don't need to fear it. It's not dangerous. There is nothing there that you need to run away from. Yet we treat it like a threat. It's like, this feeling, I don't like it. I really don't like this feeling, so I'm not going to feel it. I'm not going to allow myself to feel it. So we step away from it, which means we've never touched it. It's still there. And by stepping away from it, we give it validity. We say, okay, this is something dangerous. I'm not allowed to look at this, because if I do, something terrible could happen. The more you do that, the more you're afraid of it, the more you push away from it, or the more you push against it, trying to get it to go away, the stronger that just becomes, because you haven't touched it yet. Instead, what you do is you just see that this is you. Whatever you feel, that is who you are. And in return, those feelings are what creates you. So I sometimes say that you're not a human being having feelings, you are your feelings. Like, that's what you are. That's what you identify as, those feelings. So when you see that it's actually not dangerous and it's actually you, I have a set of questions that I go through when I do coaching, where we look at this and question these things and say, like, hey, is this feeling making you happier? Is it making you enjoy life more? Like, no, it's not. I'm assuming in your case, if it's social anxiety. Is this feeling making me more benign, meaning more open and friendly towards other people? Does it make me less resistant? Does it make me behave in the way that I want to behave? No, very likely not. So this feeling is not helping you do what you want it to do. Instead, what that's probably doing is that it's trying to protect a story. There's a story about, if they come up and see that I'm actually not as interesting as I want to be perceived, or if they come up and see, whatever it is, there's something we're afraid of. If they see me, if they hear me, if they notice I'm here, something has gotten triggered here. So we're avoiding feeling this feeling. But when we can just open up and instead of pushing away from it, this is really one of those things. I cannot tell you what to do here, Catherine, because it's something you have to learn to do. And it's something that I guide people through and I help people find, because it can take a long time to understand what you're supposed to do. We're so used to working with our minds, trying to figure things out, and this really has nothing to do with figuring it out intellectually. It has something to do with understanding how to move around these emotions and feel them, and see that what you feel as you is actually feeling as well. So it's basically a feeling resisting a feeling. And then when you can just make those two come together. In other words, when you're not afraid from it and you just go like that, it just falls apart and there's nothing there. Because there is nothing there. Both of these are just an illusion. They're just things we make up. And the more we push against it, the stronger those becomes. So let me just see what Stephen says. I'd say personal conversations are uncomfortable with certain people. I think it's because some people are different, so you don't know how to conversate with that person. That's something that has an easier time triggering this. Absolutely, Stephen. But there's nothing that says that's an absolute. I used to have with some people, when I was a monk, I was so tired of spiritual people, I just couldn't stand it. When people started talking about aliens and talking to other dimensions, and everything they spoke about was like, I want to get somewhere else. It's not enough to be here. I want to escape somewhere else. And I'm just like, oh guys, you're just missing the whole point of being here. Like, it's okay to be here. It's fun to be here. It's enjoyable to be alive. No. It's like we need to see. We need to develop these psychic powers so we can communicate. And it used to get me so irritated. And that was like a natural reaction, because before I was irritated something, and then now that irritation, that feeling of me caught on to that. But the more you look at this, the more you'll be able to talk to all kinds of people, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they say those things. That's their opinions. You don't have to feel a sense of aversion towards that. You don't have to feel like, oh, this is not nice. what they usually do when they say those things and you feel it's difficult is that it triggers something in you. That doesn't mean that you are the same or that you are the opposite. It just means that whatever they're saying is triggering something in you that feels uncomfortable. So that's a golden opportunity to observe what that is, to go in and look around and see, like, okay, what part am I protecting here? Well, they're so unlike me. Oh, sorry. They're so different than me that I need to protect this part of me, because if I let them say this thing that I don't agree with, then it's, no, I can't. I have to resist this. I can't talk to them. Because we believe that if we let them talk, then I'm somehow agreeing with them, instead of just seeing it like, it's just them talking. It doesn't mean you agree with what they say. See, Catherine is saying, Stephen and Martin, the fear is mostly about saying something that would accidentally offend a sensitive person. I think I need to assume everyone is sensitive and tread carefully. This is another thing. I used to be really sensitive to this, and I can really feel other people, like how they react. I've always had a knack for understanding if someone is upset or whatever's going on, or like this is just off with some people. So what I've noticed is that the more I have of me, the more I am there. In other words, the more I am protecting something, the more likely it is that when I say something to someone, they'll take it as offensive. But when I'm not pushing against, or when I focus on me first before I talk to them, when I focus on me and make sure that I'm not saying what I'm saying out of irritation, out of anger, out of wanting something from them, out of wanting to prevent them from doing something, when I can feel that feeling and really focus on that as the main thing, make sure that I'm at least, if I can't be in a good mood, then at least neutral before I start talking to them, so I don't judge them with my emotions as I'm talking to them. And I'm fortunate and unfortunate at the same time in having a partner who is extremely sensitive. Like, the tiniest thing can set her off, and she can be like, why are you accusing me of this? Like, we actually had one of these things today when I came home, and there were a few things that I was saying, like that she had done that I was like, okay, we need to think about this, and then please don't do that. And then for her, this was like, she felt like, I'm being attacked now, because she's so sensitive to being criticized. And then I have to be really careful with how I spoke. And before, that would give me anxiety, because I would go, I'm afraid to say anything, because if I say wrong, and then we start fighting. Then we like, I'm not. And she'd say, you're judging me, you're doing, like, no, I'm not. And we get into a fight, me trying to make sure she understood that I wasn't judging her, and she thinking that I did, and then we start fighting. It just like completely went off. Because I was trying to protect the idea that, no, I'm a sensitive person. I don't want to hurt you. But when I don't feel like I even need to be a person who is good or bad, who is a specific way, I'm just saying things. And I know that they're not coming from me wanting her harm. I know that it's not coming from me wanting to be cruel towards her. It's very difficult to talk without having a distortion, without having an emotional layer between, just as I spoke about in the beginning, between you and the person you talk to. It's very difficult to do that. And like I said, my fiancée, she's extremely sensitive for that. So that's given me a chance or an opportunity to look at that. And when I focus on making sure that I am calm, that I'm not distorting, then it doesn't really matter if she starts doing that. Like, eventually that will just simmer away. Because when nothing's hitting me, then it doesn't go anywhere. But if it starts hitting me, I start arguing back, and then all of a sudden we have a fight, and like, we'll just be angry at each other. It doesn't lead anywhere. So instead of thinking so much about other people and what they think, because you can never control that, just make sure you are aware of what you are feeling, and making sure that whatever you say is coming from a space of calmness, stillness, at least neutrality, if possible, of joy, of actually feeling enjoyment of being there, of feeling appreciation for this is another human being. When you can really see how incredible it is to just stand and not judge someone, and just hearing another person talking without you having to judge it. The freedom is incredible. And it's beautiful to hear them talk, to think about how they're creating all these concepts and ideas. And they're a person who's gone through things, and they're sharing what they've gone through. It's incredible. It's really enjoyable to do that. When you can focus on that rather than being afraid of them being hurt or whatever, however you are being perceived, because one of the reasons you're so afraid of doing this is very likely because you're protecting part of your identity, which is Catherine's a good person. She's not a mean person. She's a kind person. Maybe she's even a sensitive person. Maybe she's the kind of person who everyone likes. Maybe she's the kind of person who everyone thinks is the person that we want to have around because we just enjoy being with her. Whatever that part of your identity that you're protecting, that is something you have to let go of and feel that like, oh, well, I have to worry, I have to feel bad, otherwise I might say something that's wrong. And that's this thing coming in between, so that you, as a biological human body with a mind that has experiences and thoughts, can't act the way you want to act, because you start wanting to say something and then you go, there's this distortion in between, like, oh, whoa, Catherine, careful, Catherine, don't say that. Don't say you like the tea, because maybe she'll take that in the wrong way and think that you're criticizing her way of making tea. Okay, now we gotta tread carefully and say the tea was the best tea I've ever had. Yes, if we say that, good. Then we can be sure that she's not offended. Okay, go ahead. Now you can say it, and then you say, "Oh, that was the best tea I've ever had." So there's this lag between you actually having the impulse to say or do something, with all this like, oh, I hope I don't do anything wrong, and then you actually saying it. This is where all this suffering comes in us. This is the dukkha. The idea of dukkha in Buddhism was, it's a wheel that spins, like there's friction. There's something in the way making sure the wheel can't spin properly, whereas sukha, the wheel just spins. Also, we have to look at, we're focusing on being benign. That's a big part of it. I'm replacing all of the precepts and all of that stuff with just being benign. And benign means that whatever you say is not with wanting to hurt them, wanting to be bad, not coming from greed, not coming from me wanting to be something. No, it's just coming from an open space and feeling good. Benign, the opposite of malignant. And I took that from how when you treat a cancer, you can have a benign or a malignant cancer, and you want the benign ones. So when you see this, you see how difficult it is to live life constantly being judged, because you're judging everyone, but you're also being judged yourself by yourself. Other people judging you doesn't matter. They hold no sway over you. The only thing that matters is your own judgment of yourself, how you're judging yourself. Let's see. Stephen said, I also notice some people are offended easily, but I see that as their problem. Yes, and there's two ways you can see that, Stephen. You can say like, oh, I don't care, it's their problem. Then all of a sudden you're not benign. That means you're putting yourself like, okay, I'm this person, I'm solid, I'm here, and if they do this, yeah, that's their problem, it's not my problem. I'm not saying that's how you mean it. I'm saying if that's the way, then you're protecting an identity by being stiff, by being firm and holding like, okay, this is me. If they are offended, their problem. That's like a very American thing to do. Like, okay, like screw everyone else. If they're offended, like they just can't handle my awesomeness, and so I go around like and be myself. There's a strong sense of self. It's just that you tighten up so much that you don't feel the uncomfortable feelings of being anxious, because screw them, I'm right. Like, that's the same problem, but now we've done something else. If it's you actually understanding that, no, I cannot control how they react to me. There is no way I can control how they perceive my words. And some people are just so sensitive that doesn't matter what you say, they're going to be offended. They're just seeing everything through the filter of everyone's judging me. I'm a bad person. Everyone thinks I'm a bad person. No one wants to talk to me. Oh, everyone's terrible. I'm the only one who's correct. And like, oh, it's so bad. It's so sad. Poor me. Like all these things. It doesn't matter what you do. You just, like some people, you just realize that this is a losing fight. I've actually set up friendships like this because some people, there's just no point in talking to them. You can't. It doesn't matter what you say. They'll just perceive it the wrong way. And they want to have this strong distortion because it makes me feel alive. It makes the self thrives on conflict, drama, and being better or worse than other people. That's what the ego wants. It wants to be something in relationship to other people. When you can truly observe other people without emotionally judging them and coming from a benign space, you'll be amazed at how enjoyable it is to just interact with people. You can have that closeness and intimacy that we kind of think, it's just when you're in love with someone you can be that open. No, you can be that open to other people. That doesn't mean you just start like flashing them or showing yourself off or making love to everyone or having sex. I'm not talking about the physical part. I'm talking about that vulnerability of daring to go, this mask that I have in front of me, which is the distortions, these feelings that makes me pretend that I'm someone I'm not, so that they don't misjudge me or so that they don't judge me or think that I'm a bad person. Allowing yourself to drop that and just be naked, just be open, just be yourself in front of other people feels incredibly scary. But when you do, it's just so much nicer talking to people, because they'll see you, whoever you are. And it's not that I'm going to sit here and say, okay, you should be like this, you should be like that. That's not how it works. Like, you have to dare to be you, letting go of this and see what's left. And we're very afraid that people won't accept that. We fall in love with someone, and then we kind of come into an agreement that you're going to allow me to be like this, and I'm going to allow you to be like that, within certain limits, because these things you need to like protect with me. Like, I'm afraid if you say that another guy is beautiful, then I feel bad. Or if I say another girl is beautiful, then you're bad. And these are the kind of things that we make agreements of when it's okay and what's okay to not say. But when you're able to drop that and just be with another person, just have a conversation, just listen to them without judging what they're saying. Like, you're judging it even though you're not saying something, and they can feel that. I mean, people feel these emotional energies kind of swirling around us. And people also feel when there's a openness and you're not judging them. So one of the things I've noticed most of all is that when I am not judging other people and I'm really in that space walking around and feeling good, other people start feeling good as well, because they can feel that, and then they allow themselves to go, you know what? This guy is not threatening. He's not emotionally judging me, and I can feel that. So now I'm going to let go of the filter I have in front of me, and I'm going to allow myself to be open to him. And then they start being open to me and start talking openly and start feeling better, because now they can be themselves. And then when they do that, then all of a sudden there's someone else who comes and joins, and they can also feel that. And then they start being themselves as well. And then you have a group of people walking around just being open and naked with each other, and just having conversations with no fear of anyone judging them or them saying something wrong, or feeling that they need to be perceived a certain way, or if they don't think this, or if I'm excluded. Like, none of that is active. That's just gone. It's just human beings interacting, listening, hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting. Well, not tasting. Yeah. Just being with each other. And that's an amazing thing to do. But because you have this fear, let me see what you called it, this social anxiety type of thing between you and that person, it means that you're not honest with them. You're not yourself. And it also means that they will feel that you're trying to do that. So they can never let go of their mask that they're holding to make sure that you're not going to threaten them. So it seems counterintuitive, but just allowing yourself to be, and again, it has to come from a sense of benignity. It has to come from a place where you're not judging them. And I can tell you, this is incredibly difficult to do. As I said, I live with someone who is extremely sensitive, and who has kind of forced me to look at this and say, like, oh, no, I have no emotional judgment here. And she's like, yeah, you do. And then I'm like, okay, well, I said this in that way, and maybe there is like a sense of agitation, but I would have before said, like, it was just like, I'm not angry with you. It's not as bad as she saw it, but there absolutely was some kind of ripple of me, like, oh, okay, we have to take this discussion again. We just talked about this yesterday. It's not a big thing, but there's something there, and she can feel that. So then I will look at that and say, like, oh, wait a minute. I can actually go into this conversation and not make myself feel bad. Even though it's so tiny, I wouldn't even have noticed it before. There's a part of me feeling bad because, oh, I told you about this before. Do I have to say it now again? And there's a feeling of like uncomfortableness. And she picks that up. So I have to stop. Most other people will make, oh, that's amazing. Like, you're not judging me. For her, it is. And then you look at that and you see that and you say, like, okay, I can actually look at this and let go of this. I can see that this is me, and then you move into it, it disappears, and then you talk from that space. And this is really a learning process, which means that interacting with other people can be an incredible way to practice. Going into solitude is just one way of practicing. As a very limited outcome when you do that kind of practice. But talking to other people, now that's something that could really give a lot of benefit. I'm not saying that going into solitude practice can't. And also if you do a practice where you're interacting with a lot of other people, but you don't have the stability, then you're just going around and throwing shit everywhere and like you have no idea what you're doing. So it's a really good idea to first be sure that you're actually aware of what you're feeling. But you can do that as you go along. And that's why I talk so much about emotional awareness, being aware of how am I feeling right now, what's happening inside of me. Am I having any kind of emotional judgment towards the world around me, or am I actually feeling in a good mood? And am I being benign? Being benign means that if you say something to me and I'm in a good mood and I answer back, I might still be in a good mood, but there's actually a sense of like, oh yeah, serves her right. See, I told her not to do that. Well, you get what you deserve. You should have listened to me. I'm happy. I'm in a good mood, but there's malice there. There's a sense of me being happy about you getting something bad from doing something I told you about that you shouldn't do. And you might say, what's the problem with that? Well, that creates a sense of self. Because now all of a sudden you're creating a distance, like, okay, that person over there, and this is me. And so you're creating this drama, you're creating this conflict, this separation that the ego needs to stay alive. So it might seem counterintuitive, but what you're doing is actually making sure that you can never be close to someone else when you're like that. You need to allow yourself to drop that, to be open to talk. And I can tell that the way you're talking here now, it doesn't feel like you are. It feels like you allow yourself to be that way. If you're not, and there's something you feel like, oh, I can't, well, you're not actually talking, but I don't feel like you feel restricted in what you say to me. And I hope you can feel that you don't need to do that. Because when other people start doing it, then we all start doing this together. And it's such a beautiful thing when you start seeing this happening, how the less you judge other people, the more they can allow themselves to be themselves. And the way I talk about emotionally judging is so much more than just negative. It's also positive and like all of these things. Because if you go up like, wow, you're so amazing, you're so incredible, I can't believe it. Now they're all of a sudden like, oh crap, I'm like amazing, and that feels good, but now I need to defend that part of me. I need to make sure everyone knows that I'm, oh crap, like I didn't want to be put on a pedestal, like I don't want to have people look at me like that. So now they have to defend a new mask instead of just allowing it. I'm not saying don't give praise or say someone did something good, but look how all these things play out, and it's a great way to practice. It's an incredible way to learn about yourself and other people. Did that give you something to look at or that you could work with, Catherine? Think about if this is something you could actually apply. I mean, if you just listen and go like, oh yeah, that's good. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, think about how you can apply this in your own life. Can you give me one example of something you can actually do where you do this? Like, you don't need to say any names, but someone where you feel safe enough that you can actually go and focus on, okay, am I emotionally judging them? Am I putting any fear of how I'm perceived? And allow yourself to be naked in front of them. In other words, not protecting your ego, your sense of identity, not trying to make them see you in a certain way. And what happens many times is that we just go quiet and we just listen to the other person because we don't need to have them say what we think of things. We're just interested in what they're saying. And then all of a sudden you're just having a conversation. It feels like no one's talking. It's just this effortless flow, just having fun. Do you know someone that you feel safe enough to do that with? Because again, it helps absolutely nothing at all to listen to this and say, yeah, that's good, or this is nice, like, yeah, I like this. You actually need to do this. And it's a step-by-step process. By doing it a little bit, you start understanding what we're talking about, you start feeling it, then you start moving more and more towards the right direction. For me, being here and having this stream has been a big part of that for me as well, because I had a lot of things that I brought with me from when I was a monastic that made it difficult for me to say what I actually believed in. I mean, I'm openly criticizing Buddhism in just this very talk. And before I felt I can't do that. I have to, like, I'm an ex-monk, I should say the things that are Buddhist and stuff like that. So I had to look at the distortions I had. And now when you hear me talk here, it's unfiltered. It's just me saying things that I believe in. Yeah, you don't need to answer if you don't want to, but if you have someone like that, I highly... Oh yeah, let's see. Well, sometimes I tend to be self-deprecating, but yes, I can talk to my brothers without being guarded. Perfect. Then notice how that feels. Notice how you all together probably make each other feel that way, and then see if you can bring some part of that into conversations with others, and just dare a little bit to go against this thing that says like, oh no, I have to be so dangerous, I have to be so careful. Not in going against is the wrong way, but dare allowing yourself to feel what that feels like, and saying you don't have to be afraid of it, it's just a feeling, and then actually move into it and see that there's nothing there. It comes step by step. Pandora. Hey Pandora, nice to see you. Pandora, you are the missing link. Goodbye, stop spamming emotes. Oh, sorry, I have to turn this off. There's I appreciate those emojis. Let me just see. Can I take that away? Hey there. Okay, good. I think I took away Nightbot. I'm not sure. There's a bot that like goes through the chat and makes sure that no one says like crazy stuff, and sometimes it just when people put a lot of emotes, it just doesn't like that for some reason. So yeah. Anyway, today's Thursday, so we don't have any guided meditation today. If you just joined Pandora, we usually chat like this for a while before, and then yes, bots go through looking for certain things. Yeah, good. We just chat like this for the first 40 minutes, and then we sit together on Thursdays. We just sit together for 20 minutes. On Mondays, we have a guided meditation, so you're welcome to join then again. And I'm not sure if you're new to the stream or if you've been here before, but Mondays is when we have guided meditations. And you can also look back if you missed the earlier beginning of this talk. So, I feel a little bit under the weather, so we're not going to do anything fancy today. We usually do breath work. We'll just do tactical breathing today, which is a really good way of... Oh, no, actually we'll do another one. It's called coherence breathing. So we'll breathe in for 4, and we breathe out for 6. So it's like in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's a really good way of bringing down your HRV, bringing up your HRV, the calmness of the parasympathetic system, I guess you could say. So we'll do that. I'll guide you through the first few ones, and then you can continue by yourself, and you just continue doing whatever meditation you want after that. And yes, welcome, Pandora. So start by breathing in, 2, 3, 4, then out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now continue counting like that in whatever tempo you like, and then after you've done that for a few minutes, feel free to go back to meditating however you feel comfortable doing. see. Shapeshifter, nice to see you. I don't think I've seen you before. Thank you for the decor, yes. I like it's very cozy here, actually. Glitching. Learnings infinity. Usually sleep, I can't hear. No, there was no sound learnings. It's silent sitting today, Monday. We have a guided meditation again. Have you been here before? I don't think I recognize the name. Anyways, always nice to see new people here or old people rejoining us again. Happy to like it. Yeah, it's quite soothing. I have one of those straps that can measure your HRV, and it's quite fun to see that it actually changes when you do that. It really calms you down. And there are certain paces that affects the nervous systems differently. And I have a few other ones that we try every now and then as well. But today, since I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, that seemed like a good one to do. So thank you everyone so much for today. I hope you had a good week and you'll have a good end to the week. There's a new video coming out. I recorded one this morning, actually. It was beautiful. Esperanza, Tim is here as well. Well, if you fell asleep, that's good, I guess. I remember when I was a monk and I had a group of kids that I taught meditation in Sri Lanka, and they all fell asleep, and they said, "Oh, we did sleeping meditation," and the adults teased me about that. Good night, everyone, and I'll see you back on Monday. We will cover some other topic. I hope to see you then. Bye, and happy weekend.